All right, we're here for the third game of this epic semifinal between RNG and Fnatic. These games were extremely close, and Fnatic had gold leads in the first two games, and were very, very close of winning both of them, specifically the second game. Let's see if the draft change up at all. But what's not going to be changing is the priority on Ezreal. Seeing Reckless here, picking him up first pick. Let's get started with the draft and see where this goes. This is Rav Excel, MSI semifinals, game number 3. So what Uzi has done is he's picked Kaisa in game 2, which was now banned, and he picked Caitlyn in game 1 to counter the Ezreal. So with the Kaisa banned, he could go back to the Caitlyn. But first priority is on Ornn, wanting to get that solid engaged top laner. Not countered too easily, especially with all these top lane bans. That's probably why RNG banned the Gangplank there, where they had been banning Yasuo all 2 games. But the Gangplank was a new ban for them, and that's because of the Ornn priority that they picked up. And they're just like in game 1, Caitlyn going to be locked up for Uzi, and this is a good matchup for people in solo queue. You generally want to pick into this matchup, Caitlyn into Ezreal. The range that Caitlyn has on her autos is more than what Ezreal can handle. You just got to make sure not to get queued too much. Stand behind a minion, keep autoing the support and the AD carry. Now this is a counter that we see on solo queue here, the Singe, but you don't see it very often in the professionals, and when you do, boy, is it exciting. This is a strong pick here for Wipo. And immediately picked up was the Olaf. So good matchup for Fnatic in the top, a better matchup for RNG so far in the bottom lane. Jungle also goes to RNG, so a couple of picks in their favor as opposed to what Fnatic's picking up. Fnatic going ahead and taking out Aurelia, who was played in game 2 by Xiaohu in the mid lane. And then it looks like RNG is going to squeeze Cap's pool a little bit. Knocking the Zoe out, and there the Aurelian Soul, which was picked in game 2. So very much banning out what the players have been playing already in this tournament. Morgana ban a little bit strange on Fnatic's end. Could have been a lot of other bans you could throw at RNG. We have our mid laner, Xiaohu, who's having an excellent tournament so far, picking up the Rise. Fairly high pick and ban rate here for Rise. The win rate is pretty much to be expected. Really, there's Faker on Rise and then everyone else in the world. And Talia is going to mix and match. It Rise's ability to affect the side lanes. So Caps has specifically played the roaming mid laners, and that's how he's been able to get massive leads in these games. And fantastic tournament by Caps. Really could be said to be the MVP of this tournament. But he's been getting small advantages in mid lane, sometimes with a gank from his jungler, and then roaming either to top or bot, and either getting a flash or the kill. Very, very successful at that. Getting big, big score lines, lots of kills. Well, Fnatic has got 3 games to win. It's not impossible. They've looked strong in their 2 earlier games. They have not looked poor. They've looked like a very, very solid team. Looks like they belong here. That's unfortunately, as someone from North America, at the expense of TL, our representatives, who really, you'd like to say they performed as expected, but really, if you're here in NA, you're hoping they do more, and sometimes that hope goes to expectation as well. There's a very fine line between the two. But let's see if they have any level 1s planned. Hylissang does have Braum, and generally you'd want to do some sort of late invade around the 120 mark with Braum as a 4-man. See if you can either knock RNG off of a buff, the blue buff in this case, or if you could possibly get a flash or some sort of early damage on someone. It's RNG gathering in the top lane. And Finch took the safe pathing. He went up by river, could be in a lot of trouble. There's Braum going toward the blue buff. They're going to have a good idea on where jungler's starting. Very curiously, they RNG is not running Karsa. Karsa won the first 2 games for them here in the semifinal. Looked very strong in one game, and then relatively strong, like all right, in the second. And here they switch in their other jungler. They're already up 2-0. I guess they can do no wrong, and it's not just about winning anymore. They want to win different ways. Ignite already used. There by Kench, getting Uzi down to 1 bar. Uzi's got to be very careful. Errant Q auto would get him dangerously low. This is pretty much how this lane goes. Singed pushes up. A lot of lower ranked junglers would have stopped and attacked Singed there, but Olaf, realizing that he does not have a lot of mana and his Ornn was not there to immediately follow up, deciding to go back and get his Predator boots first. This is extremely early dive, very dangerous here for Fnatic. Both of them flash over the wall. First blood over the RNG. Fnatic's looking to trade, and they are going to get it. It's just going to matter who's going to take it. And carefully going over to Caps. But RNG being able to turn what was going to be a 4-on-2 dive on bot lane turret on level 3 and managed to turn it into a 3-on-2 gank, which they get first blood and then turn it back around and give one back. But still, overall good for RNG. Fnatic has already had leads before, but here, look, they're seeing through that ward. Jungler knows that they're there. Team knows that they're there. That's why one of the reasons why they're not moving up. The flash ignite from Ming. MLXG knows his fate. It's just wasting time. Even though the red buff gets given over to the mid lane, still worth it. Getting that early gold. Already started his jungle item. His bot lane, Reckless is CSing incredibly well compared to Uzi, who's just smashed everyone in this tournament with some insane number of like 13 CS every 10 minutes or 13 CS a minute. Just like consistency of how he's getting CS has not quite ever been seen like this. Control ward in the tri-bush there on top. Dive coming through. No level 6 yet for Singed. Did flash. Looks like he's going to get out. Level 6 just hit. He's going to proxy another wave. And got suicided there. But this is a strategy as Singed. You're keeping the jungler up there. You're forcing the top lane to stay up there. Couple of early deaths is not the end of the world. Singed is CSing at even pace with Ornn. Looking for the dive once again, but RNG is prepared once again with good warding. 4 on 2. This has to be executed perfectly. Braum is taking the tower shots and picking up the Tahm Kench kill. Does not look like they're going to give anything back, but that depends how far RNG wants to push it. And well executed dive there from Fnatic. A second time before the 7-minute mark that they 4-man dive the bot lane. So this is a well thought out strategy. This is something they've been obviously working on. Ragnarok used from MLXG, and that's just going to be a cooldown away. He does have the items to do Dragon, but it's just not sure about that. Does not look like he's going to path towards it. So slow from the Winter's Bite. Hylissang going to then take the tower shots. Teleport was completed because the jungler was around the area to try to turn that fight, but unsure if they would have been able to do it. Xiaohu getting in on the Singed killing in the top lane. Went for the triple dark seal. And Xiaohu will take his kills from anywhere. It doesn't have to be in mid lane because he hasn't gotten one off Caps yet, but glad to take one off of Singed. Action here from Xiao, the jungler, MLXG. Did not have Ragnarok, used it in the bot lane about 20-30 seconds earlier. So just unfortunately a little mistimed aggression there, but that's MLXG's middle name is Sink or Swim. And the proxy farming continues. Jahu's got the tier catalyst already completed, and that on the opposite side of him for Caps has got the last chapter tier, as well as those free ass boots that just gotten upgraded to Sork shoes just right now here at 9 minutes 30 seconds. Still, first dragon has not been attempted. Olaf is generally one of the better junglers for this first dragon, and it is a ocean dragon, so a valuable first one to get, especially at the earlier mark. Seems both junglers are focused on their lanes. Skarner focused on bot lane, Olaf focused on top lane. Both junglers know they're each there. It's 2-on-2. CS is now evened out here in the bot lane. On their way down, Caps did see the team moving downwards. Looks like because they pushed in mid wave and bot wave, their Fnatic is not going to get any vision of this dragon. Not going to path near it. Roxa is just finishing off a camp. Going to head back. Got a 10 CS lead. And a little ulti for ulti trade there. Rise ults in with Olaf, and then Caps takes off and uses his ulti to get out. Let Me's got to hit this, and he hits it right under tower. Excellent ultimate from Let Me. That's why you pick Ornn, is you got to hit that ultimate, and he does. 3 deaths for Singe, and if you're going to be doing this to Singe, you have to be putting pressure towards the top side of the map. He's putting a little bit of pressure, is Bwipo, but not as much as I'm sure he'd be liking to. More bot lane items have been completed. Sheen on Fnatic's side, BF Sword on RNG's. There you can see the Q from Caitlyn taking down 2 or 3 bars. Let Me does have a significant lead here on top lane. Significant in that he has finished his first item with the Abyssal Mask, and does have those upgraded boots. Singe has got a lot of peace items, but hasn't finished anything yet. Going for that Dark Seal Corrupting Potion build. And here is the new meta. We're seeing Shurilias with Boots of Swiftness on Singed. Very interesting to see the Shurilias that is. When he uses that with Skarner, two of them running in, they are going to be fast enough to catch whoever they want. Counter gank here from RNG. Fnatic tried to be aggressive, but RNG coming right in, and they're going to be finishing this off with an excellent Rise ultimate, capturing the Braum, and they just got to have enough damage, but a heads-up play by Hylissang jumping over to his team. And the counter aggression from Fnatic, I didn't see that coming. Not only are they going to get one, but they have a chance of getting two, so traded right back. A little bit sloppy on RNG from splitting up. They had one group at the Tri-Brush, another group going towards the red buff, and RNG does not want to give this up despite being 3-on-2. It is not a deterrent for this Chinese squad. It's just like them building the man-made island in the South China Sea. They're just doing it, and they're just saying, what? What are you going to do about it? What? So here, Fnatic starts off the action, but then RNG instantly looks much better when they can knock out Caps right away. Following right up for a 3-on-1 onto Braum, and I thought Braum was dead here, and they really had to take Braum out for that to be a complete win for them. But here, splitting up, got a little bit greedy. They wanted to continue the fight and get behind Fnatic to cut off their escape. And Fnatic, realizing that the team was split, went on the two weaker members, finished them off, and came out with a win, despite RNG instantly turning that back and having an advantage for part of that team fight. So, next dragon up in about 40 seconds. Be very important for Fnatic to get this Cloud Drake, or at least contest it. With their team composition of Singed, Skarner, Talia, very, very good with movement speed, and they already have the Shurilias. And if they can get a Wind Dragon or two on top of that, they're really going to like their positioning on where they can engage and who they want to engage on. Having a small team fight. Tom Kench is going to be the first one out. Singed, pop the Shurilias. He's going incredibly fast, going right for Uzi. Excellent targeting. And this is the type of movement that Fnatic was looking at. And not only are they going to be able to get that with, diving right into their backline, but they're going to be able to get the Wind Dragon, which I was just talking about previously. So Cap's going to be on zoning duty, keeping the jungler out. MLXG realizing he doesn't want any of that, going to continue to push mid lane instead. They're going to put mid lane pressure in exchange for this dragon and bot turret. Really, that's not much of an exchange. That's Fnatic coming out ahead. Being able to knock Caitlyn right out of that fight instantly. Big reason why they won this fight. So RNG had a 3-on-3 here, but then saw the teleport coming in. Now it's a 5-on-4. and turned heavily in the favor of Fnatic, specifically when you can knock Caitlyn out so quickly, and they followed up that with a bot lane turret. Uzi changing up the build a little bit, going for rapid fire cannon instead of static shiv. He doesn't want to push into this Skarner or this Singed, so going instead for a little bit extra range instead of the wave pushing power you get with static shiv. I like the change of item composition here from the world's best AD carry. Fnatic picking up yet another objective in the Rift Herald, but Uzi quickly getting ignored and then pushing down 2 turrets. Tons of solo gold going over to the Caitlyn. Just watch his item buy. 2 pieces of his next item, which looks like the static shiv. So buying 2,000 gold worth of items there, one shot, just after pushing a couple of towers and 3 or 4 CS waves. Oh, excuse me. That should be the one and only interruption. Apologize. But we're right back at it. 3,000 gold difference here. Fnatic up ahead, but you know that hasn't been said much. They've got leads in game 1, game 2. They have a lead yet again in this third game, but can they close it out? And previous experience would say no, they are going to have trouble, and RNG just need to hold on to get to that mid to late game team fighting stage in which they come out ahead. They engage in the skirmishes, they get that 1 or 2 kill advantage, get the Baron, and then make a crippling blow. That's the MO. That's what's happened before. Can Fnatic change this? And Singe getting knocked out of the bottom lane, not going to be the end of the world, but it's putting them at a little bit of a disadvantage here for pushing lanes. Fnatic starting to set up with the Baron vision. They have 2 control wards, one in the pit, one in the river. And then with the Spire and a ward in the bush behind the Baron, they're starting to set up vision on RNG's side. Singed definitely being successful and being a nuisance, but not only that, they're going to look to also try to pick up this kill on Rise. The fling back should be enough to guarantee the kill. Suppression there just to prevent Rise from running any further or trying to finish off that kill on Singed. A little bit early to be calling it out, but next dragon is a win dragon in a minute 30. So once again, important for Fnatic's comp that if they can get these win dragons, they can run around with Singe. They can't be stopped. They can engage on whoever they want to. And this Rift Herald is going to continue to put pressure, which is going to allow Singe to back in bot lane and then allow Fnatic to then now push top to keep getting vision around Baron. So pushing waves, getting vision. Once again, the Baron dance has commenced. But just because Fnatic's got an early advantage in the vision around Baron Pit does not mean that it's going to stay that way. RNG's already fighting back. already got their side all lit up with red wards. So Scuttle going over. MLXG doing that because Dragon is coming up. Does know that Fnatic wants to have priority on it. So picks up that Scuttle, so at least there'll be vision of the Fnatic team doing the Dragon if they do intend to start it. 4 in the mid. Uzi's getting engaged on. Nice dodge by Ming. If he get caught by that, he was dead. Axe flash. Orin's going to come with the counter engage. Stop by Braum. Trading kill back. Uzi onto Reckless. Caps is going to be the next one targeted. Awesome double knockup from Let Me. Big engage. And once again, RNG coming out ahead of this skirmish. A 3-for-0. And they're going to forget about the Wind Dragon. They're going right for Baron. Just game after game, the same scenario plays out. And it just has to be in the 20-something minute mark where RNG is able to get these definitive leads. You can see the frustration on Cap's face. Reckless as well with the grimace. They know what this means when you give a Baron over to RNG. They've seen it in the past 2 games. And back to base. Purchase items with the team fighting gold. So here RNG switched the lanes and wanted Rise to face the Singed, and that's how they picked up the last couple of kills on Singed. So picking that up, instantly having a team fight advantage. Reckless then getting focus from MLXG and Uzi. And the 5-on-3, well, you just go for the next carry. That would be Caps, and with Let Me on Orin getting the double knockup, there's nothing the support staff of Fnatic could do to stop their carry Caps from getting knocked out. Aggressive move from Caps, a little bit unusual here. Kind of split the team on the wrong side. Tried to make an aggressive play, but they really have to retreat now. They can't be engaged on this unless they're under turret. Reckless getting absolutely destroyed from Xiaohu. Just a couple of abilities, each one doing a quarter to a third of his health. And Reckless understands what this means. Tier 1 mid tower down. Tier 2 will be down shortly. And that's if they decide. They could also swing to top lane. Putting effective pressure on 2 points in the map. Singe just countering on the bottom, but there's no way that he can put enough pressure to counter what RNG is doing. Got the Baron of Command minion working for him to help his pushing ability. So far, RNG takes down 2 turrets and heavily damages the mid-tier 2. Fnatic still putting pressure. They could have decided to hang back, stay under turret, play completely defensive, but instead they're trying to do something. They're split pushing with Singe. They're trying to get picks. They're playing caps really out in front. Singe once again pushing in the top lane. He's not very much good in team fights. And this is unfortunate when you do get a little bit behind with Singed. You're not able to do the split pushing that you really would like to be able to do. It's the 5-on-4. Singe just continuing to push in the top lane. There's really not much that Fnatic can do. Trading off aggro beautifully. Shahu, MLXG going to hang back while the full health members finish off the rest. Uzi leaving no doubt in anyone's mind who the superior AD carry is. It's a very impressive performance from here from RNG. Not getting nervous. Yes, they were getting behind in all 3 games, but they never looked desperate. Held it together. Didn't die when it counted. Took all the necessary objectives, but didn't force anything too early. Before the 20-minute mark, they did not have to do a lot. And it's the careful, patient play that you would normally expect from a Korean team here in a international tournament. But seeing this from a Chinese team is very refreshing and impressive, especially how they can rotate their jungler in and out. And throughout the regular season, they rotated their top laner in and out. And there with Sins pushing on the top lane, there was not anything Fnatic could do. Just like there's nothing Reckless could do with that red buff ticking on him, slowing him down. Flash from Uzi. Doesn't want to die any more than 2 times. Despite how close this game was, it has ballooned to a gargantuan size of 7,000. But not only that, 2 inhibitors down. There's really nothing working for RNG. They have speed, they have movement, they have agility, but what good is that when you're agilely moving in and around a team that's just infinitely stronger than you? You don't want to engage on a team that's stronger than you generally, unless they're out of position or outnumbered. And this RNG squad is just not giving Fnatic anything to work with. MLXG might need a Devour here, but could be a bait. Does have GA. Kind of looked like he was baiting it. Bearing up in a few seconds. Really, Fnatic's just looking at the possibility of a steal here. They're just trying to delay the take. With 2 inhibitors down, they can't really do too much. And capturing the flash of Broxa, excellent play by Letme. I really liked his Orin ultimates. Great prediction. He's hitting most of them throughout the tournament. And really, this is just formulaic at this point. Braum trying to get a little bit of vision, but getting knocked out of his own jungle. Reckless trying to intercept a cannon minion wave here in the mid lane. Once again, or an ultimate hit. Exhaust used on the jungler. RNG is just going to have to head back a little bit. They were just a little bit aggressive diving this turret. Quadra kill from Reckless, but even though this looks amazing for Europe, they're still in a lot of trouble. They really want Reckless to get that Penta, and he picks it up. Penta in game 3. European crowd must be incredibly hyped. I need to see one other team fight win to get really excited. That is not enough for me. Baron's not up for any significant amount of time. Yes, the inhibitors will be up shortly, but you can really only start pushing once they're up. So here we're going to see there's a 5-on-3 engage, which became a 5-on-4. Unfortunate turret aggro as the turret targeted Uzi. And that white-caped Crusader, Ezreal, flinging his double tiers around. Recently finished full items. Got full build going on. Caps, though, has not finished full build as of yet. Uzi's been full build for a little while now. Inhibitors are back up. Fnatic knows it's make it or break it time. If they lose the next team fight, they've almost certainly lost. If they win the next team fight, then they still can win. Knocking off MLXG was a great start to that. Singe being in the right place at the right time. Big key here is if an inhibitor can get taken down. The turret is a foregone conclusion. The real question is the inhibitor. With 5-on-4, with a Banner of Command cannon minion, wasn't too much of a question. RNG was always going to let that go, but was just waiting to see whether Fnatic was going to push it or not. This is not a place where you want to overextend. Most certainly not for Ocean Dragon. They should just back. Singe going down here to the bot lane is the right play. Keep these waves pushed up against RNG so they can't put pressure on the map. Shirelli is used. He fears that Ryze is going to ultimate down with a team member and knock him out. So rather use that cooldown. This is a fairly short cooldown. Yeah, so it was very worrying at the 5,000 plus gold mark for RNG. Now it's back close to even. Fnatic very much inside in this game now, and that was because knocking down those 2 mid turrets and the inhibitor. Now they have, from this point, about 4.5 minutes of super minions pushing down the mid wave. So that implied pressure right down the middle. Handing over the blue buff to Uzi. This is how valuable Uzi is. No other Caitlyn in the world would get a blue buff. But the you know, this is Uzi's team, or Uzi I, depending how you wanna say it. Either way, it's just an absolute pleasure watching him and the other 80 carries, frankly, in this tournament. Betty on Flash Wolves doing a lot of big things, but let me once again with an excellent ultimate forcing Reckless to flash. That's right, that's an Ezreal's flash gone. Xiaohu has been an absolute thorn in Guipo's side, getting the stun and a lot of damage down onto the Singed. And this will be enough. Strong game from MLXG, just a couple of early misplays, but really, since the 20-minute mark, has not made too many misplays. Just the one catch where he was caught out about 3-4 minutes ago, and then lost the middle inhibitor. Because of it, that's about it. Has not been too much of a disadvantage for his team. And really, he's one of the only question marks on this excellent, excellent team. Without hesitating, they're going to go for Baron, but Fnatic's going to push up the middle. How exciting! Let's get to see how this works out. They realize that they can't do anything in the mid, so they're going to swing down to bottom, and this might be not as exciting as I thought it was going to be. I was under the impression that Fnatic was going to push right down the middle and try to take out a Nexus turret, but realizing that would have most likely been suicide. Swing off and slightly push the bot wave as well as get a couple of camps. Not putting any congestion at all for that Baron, and RNG has just had complete Baron control this entire series. Fnatic didn't get more than a vision smell at all out of any of these Barons. Not even steal attempts. That's how complete the control has been. But thankfully, Fnatic does have super minions still pushing down the mid wave. Makes it a little bit harder for RNG to just push down the middle. Pushing the bottom wave, they might have a little bit more success in. They're going to try pushing this cannon first of all. Very, very careful. Looks like they've cleared it out now. Now they can start putting pressure onto the inhibitor. Uzi taking a couple of pot shots, but then taking a little bit of damage on his own. Inhibitor down to 15%. They should be able to get it this wave. Another cannon minion wave. Couple more Caitlyn shots, and they've got it. Fnatic not wanting to lose a team fight and give up the game just at this juncture. The double Ocean Dragons, RNG, not losing any health, keeping this pressure up with full health. Uzi very carefully navigating the side of this wave. Uzi making sure his control is perfect. Not wanting to be caught out of position at all. They're very, very careful with how they're operating. Not pushing an advantage at all. As you can see, a bot wave is forming. Someone's going to have to go down there. Cap's trying to split the team, but unfortunately is not successful. They send Singe to the bottom. This is RNG's chance to go. They knew that this was coming. Singe is coming back, so they head back just a little bit. They're fighting within the traps. Banner command minion. Continuing the pressure. RNG does not have to hard commit. They're having their minions do it for them. Mid pushed in. As you can see, Super Minion right up against Caps. Second inhibitor down. Excellent strategic play from RNG. Not like a traditional Chinese team. Not just going all in for the fight and win. Wanting the objectives. Wanting these inhibitors. With 2 inhibitors down, you can't contest this Elder Dragon, and RNG knows this. If I were to bet, I would say they would back at this point and then push the bottom wave, but let's see what they do. It looks like that they're going to continue to try to press their luck. They don't have the Baron. They just have the Elder buff. Extra 2 damage, burn. Makes the dragons that you've already taken 50% stronger in their ability. And wanting to use the maximum of that Elder Dragon buff, deciding not to buy. Most members are at full item, so that would be the reasoning. Looks like only 2 of the members could upgrade items out of the 5, so that's why they decided not to buy. They're going to wait for that top lane Super Minion wave to push right into the base. That's when they'll put the ultimate pressure towards this inhibitor. And Fnatic will have a decision. Do you engage in the fight on RNG's terms, or do you let it go? Frankly, RNG is fine with both. 2 bad decisions there. ZZ Rot helping with the wave. RNG fighting amongst their traps. Lots of pokes damage coming out from the Caitlyn. It looks like Caps is coming up. This is going to be probably where they're going to want to fight as Fnatic. There's the ultimate knocking up the tank, but that's not who you want. And realizing that, they're just going to back right up, give up the third, and now try to defend. They have at least 3 minutes before their 2 inhibitors are back up. Middle one will come up first, then the top. But RNG won't let him have it. Great ultimate from Let Me, knocking 2 members up, getting onto the Skarner underneath the tower. Weepo has to retreat back as Singe, needs to get some health back before he dives back in. Meanwhile, RNG going to be knocking out the turret. Let Me going to continue to front line. Uzi getting flinged back into the back, but has a GA. His team is going to rally around him. They don't want to let their hero die. They don't want to let their leader die, and they're not going to. They're going to be continuing on to the MSI final. They just got to knock down this last turret. Minions going around the base. Broxa is going to be trying all that he can do, but he can't do enough as RNG win 3 very similar close games against the leading European squad in Fnatic. And there's Reckless. Kings of Europe is Fnatic, but they can't win on the international stage when it counts. And it's not for lack of trying. It's not for poor draft. It's just merely that this RNG squad is a better team. They're a better team, and they have better players. And that was it. Third game cast, 3-0 for RNG. Extremely close games. I'll probably be watching these ones back at some point. They're very entertaining. And that's all for the MSI series. Coming right back with the Korean squad, King Zone, against the Southeast Asian squad of the Flash Wolves. So, Exel here for the midseason invitational. RNG, Royal Never Give Up, heading to the finals. And we're going to see who's going to join them. Thank you.